Hello, it's really nice to have you here. So this year I've been really getting back into linocut printing. I actually learned how to do that when I was a little child and I went to an art school. But for years I haven't done it. So this year I kind of been trying to learn a little bit more about this medium. And lately I've been doing little postcards, and today I wanted to make some more and maybe show you a little bit of my process and bring you along. So let's go over to my desk. Yep, so the first step to the process is gonna be to figure out what kind of design I want to do. So usually when I sit down to make art, I have no idea where it's gonna go. So I just kind of flip through my sketchbooks a little bit, maybe see what designs I already did, maybe some ideas I want to explore deeper. I also have a lot of art books that I love to flip through, and even maybe go on Pinterest to see some techniques and little design elements I would love to incorporate, but I try to not copy other artists, so Pinterest can be a little bit tricky, but I'm gonna figure that out later. And now we can talk a little bit about what kind of supplies you're gonna need. Okay, so the first thing is gonna be linoleum. Not exactly sure what kind this is. It's kind of the only available one in my art store, but it's been working out quite fine. I know there's a lot of different firmnesses or softnesses, and a lot of artists have different preferences, but this one is kind of fine for me for now. And then you're gonna need a way to transfer your design onto the linoleum. Because I do more simplistic designs, I usually love to skip this part to not overcomplicate the process for me. But you can use carbon paper, you can use transfer paper, you can make your DIY transfer paper with putting a bunch of charcoal, flipping it over, and then tracing your design on top. Also, if you have a laser printer, you can just print out your design and use some acetone to get it on the block. Yeah, but I also love to skip this part because it keeps the process a little bit more interesting for me. So I usually use permanent markers or alcohol markers. First a lighter color to sketch out a rough design, and then a darker color to kind of clean it up a little bit. But not having a fully rendered clean sketch kind of keeps my mind more involved in the process, because I have to always make decisions, always think about what parts I want to cut out and what parts to leave, and kind of figure out what kind of details I want to add along the way. So that's also part of the reason why I skip it. Also, I'm just lazy, so yeah, so you can see a little bit of my past carvings that I did. Here you can see the little sketch with the orange marker underneath a little bit better. Yeah, so some of them are not that good, but it's kind of a place to experiment and, keep it fun and not keep it too technical. I feel like in the beginning of learning a new medium, you have to keep it fun for yourself. So that's kind of the way I don't overcomplicate things. And I'm sure I'll pick up some more technical ways to do it along the way. So yeah. If you're not sure what linocut even is, it's just you have a linoleum block and you carve away all the parts you want to leave white, and the parts you want to print on the paper, you just leave. So yeah, I will maybe show some more. I also have a sketchbook full of my prints, so maybe I'll do a tour when I finish that one. So yeah, that's the linoleum. Next, we're gonna talk about paper a little bit. So you're gonna need a pretty smooth paper. So hot pressed paper is the best because it has almost no texture. I have a bunch of different brands. This one is from Smelt Art. I've been using this one and been liking the results. But I also went to the art store and bought some more supplies to try today. So I also have this kind, and I have a little bit of a bigger format to do some prints with a white border around. Yeah, so that's paper. Next, you're gonna need a way to carve out your designs. So I have this little set. It's kind of the cheapest one with the the most possibilities. So yeah, you have a bunch of different nibs, a lot of different like thicknesses, and I don't know. So this one also doubles as a little baron. And like a baron is the way to kind of smooth out the paper and make sure that all the ink sticks to the paper. And then you have a brayer here. So also all of these are just one brand that's available to me at the art store. So I don't know, but I'm just in the beginning of my journey, so I'm not sure what I like and what I don't yet. Yeah, and next you're gonna need a smooth surface to apply your layer of paint. So I just have like a little glass from a glass frame. On the other side I have some dried oil paints, but this side is nice and smooth. And next is gonna be the ink. So it's also by the same brand. I do not recommend this one because it kind of dries too fast for the printing process, but never really dries fully when you're done with it. So, and because it's water-based, it's gonna react with oils on your hand and smudge. So, but I'm trying to use it up and maybe in the future look for some other types of ink. I chose a water-based ink to kind of make the cleaning up process easier, but maybe in the future I'm gonna move on onto an oil-based ink. Yep, so that's kind of all of the supplies I'm gonna need today. So if you're doing like a reduction print with multiple colors, you're gonna need some more stuff like frames to make sure it all lines up, but today I'm just like plopping the paper on it and hope it works out. So the design I'm thinking, I found this little sketch from 2021. I'm gonna simplify it, make it a little bit more easy on myself. So I will show you the process a little bit. Yeah, so first I'm just tracing the lino for the correct size and doing a quick little sketch. Yeah, so kind of to simplify the design, I decided to actually lose one hand. I just like how it looks more, a bit cleaner. And it's kind of based on like some medieval and, I don't know, Egyptian art. So I don't think anatomy is that important here. So yeah, and I mean, she's a mythical creature. She can have one hand if she wants. Yeah, so that's kind of a rough little sketch. And now I'm gonna do it all again on the lino. Yep, so I cleaned up the design a little bit more. Maybe along the process it's still gonna change a bit, but I'm kind of happy with this one. Yeah, so my camera stopped working, but I already started the carving process a little bit. First, I just go around the figure with the tiniest little nib I have, and then I'll carve out the background. If I kind of want to see more clearly, I just use a black marker on top of it to kind of see better. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done with the outline. Now I'm just gonna carve out the bigger spaces that I have with a bit of a chunkier little nib. So you pretty much get the gist. I'm gonna finish it off of the camera. So now I'm cleaning up the print a little bit, just to get the black marker off a little so it doesn't confuse me too much with ink during the inking process. So I can clearly see if I have a uneven distribution of the ink. And also I'm gonna use a little piece of tape to get all the little loose, maybe linoleum pieces. And I got my nail polish off too with the acetone. But yeah, you can also use acetone if you're sketching with the marker to maybe fix some mistakes in the sketch. You can also use just like a lint roller for this step if you need. Oh, I see I missed a little spot. Oh, let me get that. And also I did nick a little piece that I wasn't supposed to. So I just used a little dollop of super glue to kind of, it wasn't completely off, just kind of loose a little, so I just glued it down right here. So I think we can do a little test print now and see if anything needs fixing. So I'm gonna clean up my desk because it's a huge mess. And then we can move on. I also use just some old newspaper or magazines to keep everything clean. And we can try to roll out a thin layer of paint. And putting it onto the lino print. Then I put on a little newspaper and use a Baron to smooth it all out. Okay, so time for the big reveal. Kinda like how it's turning out. Yeah, so here's how some of my prints turned out. Not all of them perfect, but I'm pretty happy with the outcome. So now's the worst part, the cleaning up. The ink really stains my bathtub, so it's a pain. But yeah, so thank you for watching and see you on my next video.